About a year ago today, I quit a program that was supposed to help grow my business. And I quit because I had a bunch of limiting beliefs. But before we get into that, this is how these videos work. I'm building my business in public daily with these videos. And hopefully, I'm trying to build a network of other entrepreneurs in progress, probably just like you. Maybe that's why you clicked on this video. So, what we want to do first, go through the YouTube comments, not because I'm a business guru. I have no idea how to grow your business. I don't even know how to grow mine. I'm just trying to figure this out as we go. So I'm trying to grow a community. So hopefully we can chat through the YouTube and we'll get some stuff going there. Maybe some things that are top of mind, thoughts, challenges. And that's really what I'm doing today, which is the biggest mistake that I've made so far, definitely monetarily. And mistake is a tough word. Mistake's a tough word, and we're going to get into it. And then at the end of it, we're going to talk about the important things tracker, which is me just sort of documenting all the stuff that I care about from a metrics standpoint in my business. So let's go to the YouTube comments. And oh no, there's no YouTube comments. You know why? Because no one's watching these videos. Look at these views. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 3. And guess what? The best part is I don't care because I'm making these videos for me. But I know in my heart of hearts that there's other people out there that would appreciate stuff like this. People talking about their challenges, their struggles, whatever, through their entrepreneurial journey. So that's what this video is going to be about today. So about a year ago, I joined a program, and it was a 4-month program. And this is your classic, like, hey, join this thing. We're gonna hit the ground running. You're gonna start doing the business thing. And I was a complete noob. Okay. When I started, I had 0 business experience. And I was like, I saw this kind of like YouTube webinar series from this person that put out a bunch of stuff, and I was like, man, I think I can really do this. And I was really convinced that like I can do this, like come on. So I signed up for the call. I went through all the funnel and all that other stuff. So a complete noob goes on the call, and I am just sweating on the call because I know that at the end of the call that price is going to drop, and I know that it was going to be a lot. What I was not expecting was how much it was going to be. So let's draw some, no. We want to draw some sweat here. Let's draw some sweat beads. I am sweating, okay? Here's what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to be between $4,000 and $5,000. I was like, how could it possibly be any more than that? And this is me not knowing anything about it. But it was not that much money, or that little money, I should say. It was actually $16,000. $16,000. Like, what are we? What? $16,000. So yeah. As that happened, the sweat continued. This is just me. This is my whole body now, just complete sweat and utter dripping. I'm doing this at like my lunch break during my job, and I come back and they probably thought I was a disheveled mess, right? But at the end of the call, I understand that there were all the like objections that I was going to say if I didn't understand I did a little objection research before, and I was like, all right, you can't sound like a little bitch. You're not going to say all the objections. You just got to say honestly what you think is going to happen and if you believe in yourself. So I said yes. Okay. But I was concerned about the money part. So normally what they do is they obviously want your $16,000 right up front. And so I was like, I can't do that. And they're like, okay, no problem. Let's do, 4 payments of 4. And I was like, yeah, that's tough. So what they did was so basically the down payment was $1,000. And then at the end of the first month, I'd owe $3,000. And then the next month was $4,000. $4,000, $4,000. So yeah, 5 payments, but this was before it started, and then at the end of month 1, 2, 3, 4. So this totaled up to the the $16,000. So I was like, okay. In my head, I was like, okay, I can do this. It was a high ticket. I guess I didn't say that. It was a high ticket. High ticket. So basically, it was a high ticket program selling other people to do high ticket programs. So I get in the program and I'm like, okay, this is cool. And obviously, there's a lot of like content inside the platform. There's things like your like avatar sort of thing that you figure out. You basically build like a sales script. It was quite helpful. It was very overwhelming because I didn't know what I was doing at all. But then the real challenge struck when basically what they do, what they tell people to do to get leads is like cold DMing people. And that's very common, of course. So many people do cold stuff these days. I just had never done it before. So I was like learning. I'd never done anything in business before. And now it's like there's all these skills to learn. So it was cold DMs. They recommended Instagram. Okay. So I had actually just created one before it, not knowing that this was going to happen. So IG. So that's the one I used. And it was a complete and utter disaster for me for a couple reasons. One, I didn't really know that you had to like warm up your account to do stuff like that. It was, everyone says like, oh, do 100 reach outs a day. And I'm like, boom, I can do that. I can do that. That's just like a habit thing. It's a volume thing. I can absolutely do that. Now, I didn't know the context of like, hey, you can't send 100 at once. Didn't know that. So that was kind of strike one here. Sent too many at once. Because if you guys are on Instagram, you know that if you're doing DMs, you get this like message, or I should say, you could click on someone's profile, but Instagram is basically locking you from messaging them because when the profile doesn't show up, basically means, hey, don't send this person a message because whatever. So I kept sending messages, and IG shut me off for a while. So that was like my only sort of asset or way to do it, to message people. So I was like, okay, well, I also have a LinkedIn sort of. So like, I don't know anything about this, but can I message people on there? The answer to that is really no. It was like, okay, because you have to like pay to, yeah. I'm not a big LinkedIn fan. I know a lot of people love it. It's not for me, and that's okay. So then I was like, all right, what about Facebook? Had challenges with that too. People do this all the time. I wasn't able to really message anyone. So what I did on Facebook was I joined a bunch of groups. And then just literally started like posting / messaging people there. That didn't really work. I had a pretty small X following prior to doing any of this. So let me make this capital. That is capital. Okay. So I had about 400 followers on there. Followers? Is that what it's called? So 400, and I messaged all of them. Because when IG was down, I was like, man, this is my main source. So I would use X to get to my like 100 messages daily. So I basically did 4 rounds of this. Okay. Oh, I also joined school, which I'm in now, and I joined communities and then just started messaging people in there, and I got like banned from certain communities, which of course I did because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just so desperate to like try and make this work. And the teachings were basically like, hey, yeah, just cold DM. Here's what you do. Like, here's what you say. So none of this was working. And I didn't really have, like, I was spending all this money. And I knew that it was going to keep stacking up and up and up. And I saw other people in the community, in the high ticket thing, they were doing ads. They were doing Instagram boosted posts. And so that's, I basically did 1 month of just messaging, just like trying to message, trying to get people on a sales call, essentially is what I was trying to do. I ended up getting, I got one call that month, and it was not great. Obviously, I was terrible in it, but the guy was not interested in what I was selling. He thought it was something maybe different. So that didn't go very well. But the good thing was what I did the thing. I went on a sales call. I had my sales script up. I went through the whole thing, and I tried my damnedest. Okay, so that was really cool. It taught me a lot. But I only got one call that month, and I was keeping track of my outreaches every day. Like I was tracking it. I was trying to figure out like how do I space it out? Do I space out? Do I do what was it, 5 every if I do, what was the math? If I do like 7 every hour that I'm awake or something like that, it got like to right around 100. So I tried to do that. So like I wake up, I would do 7. I would do 7 every hour, and that kind of worked out. I think 7 or 6. But yeah, it was just so tough. And then so the next month, what I did, so month 2, I started doing paid ads, boosted posts, I should say, boosted posts. And now I'm like freaking out because, not freaking out, but like I was like, man, like, so I'd already paid this. I already paid this. So now I'm down $4,000. And then the next month was happening. And I was like, man, I got 30 days or I got to pay $4,000 and I've made $0. I have no inkling of a chance to even make this happen, right? So I did, some modest spending. And basically, when you sign up for this program, they give you a coach, like a kind of a personal coach and everything like that. It was pretty cool. But the coach was basically like, dude, you're not like spending enough money on these boosted posts. I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, it was very stressful because he's like, yeah, you could do small amounts, but like, you're just not going to get anywhere. It's like, I get it. I just like, I don't have unlimited funds. It was quite a stressful time for me. Like, just to be honest, it was like I was trying to learn all these things and I was spending all this money and I didn't have any idea what I was doing, and it was just the most stressful thing. So I did this for a while, and I ended up getting 2 more calls, and basically the objections were money. So there were people that were definitely interested in what I had. They literally had no money. So what they taught inside that was like, don't give discounts, but also like if you're new, just like take whatever you can get. And they taught you this thing of like how to scale down the money in a way that makes sense. So what ended up happening was the first person, I was basically trying to sell like $1,000 thing to poor people on these calls. And the first lady, she was so interested. So I ended up just saying like, hey, we'll figure out the money later, but I do need like a way to sort of you saying like, yes, I'm interested. So I understand you're getting paid at the end of the week. Could we put down $50 right now? So on the call, I had her pay me $50. So I got off the call. I was like, okay, $50 isn't going to make or break me, but now that's the first dollar that came through. Like, incredible. It was pretty cool. Okay, it was pretty cool. But then a day later, she reached out to me. And what I didn't tell you in this part of the story was she had actually had another software. Hold on. Let me move this over. Software to, so I have a personal finance business. Okay. So software to like pay off debt and manage it or whatever. Manage it. Okay. And she had spent this software like 2 years ago, and she remembered that she still had this. So she reached out and was like, sorry, I'm just going to go with this. I already paid for it. Should check it out. So the problem was then instantly I was like, okay, well, I can't take this lady's money now. So what I did was I refunded her. But the problem is I refunded her the $50, but So that way she received $50, but I didn't receive $50 because of the fees, right? So I received something like $44 or something like that. So I refunded 50 and only made like, but only made 44 or something. So I lost $6 on my first sale. And I don't have a physical product. Like, isn't that insane? So then the next call, the same thing. Guy is like super interested. It was the longest sales call I've ever had in my entire life. It ended up being like 2.5 hours. The guy, first of all, I was obviously terrible at the process, or I would have like kind of cut him off. But the guy kept, oh my god, it was just like crazy. So it was like so late at night, and the same thing sort of happened where I give him the price, and it was $1,000, and his face turned white, and he was like poor. He had no money, right? So I did the same sort of thing here. I was like, I did the whole like working your way down, and I eventually was like, dude, if you're interested, I just need a commitment from you. Like, could you just do $1 right now? So he did $1, which is just so stupid, right? It's so stupid. And I was like, wow, I just spent all this time getting $1. But at the end of the day, it was just a learning lesson, right? Because I was so new to it, and I was like, well, next time don't have it spend, don't ask better questions or something, and not have it take 2.5 hours. But then he got cold feet. Okay, hold on. There we go. He got cold feet. And he's like, you know what, Chris, I don't think I can really do this. I'm so sorry. So I had to refund him, refund the $1. And then, of course, you know what that means. I lost money on the deal again, right? So this was less, but still, I was like, okay, great. So the first two sales that I did, I lost money. And then we were coming right up to the point where I almost had to pay $4,000 again. It was like a couple days before it was going to come out. And how big can I write this here? Let's do this. I quit. And looking back, I'm like so embarrassed about it, actually. So seeing this is actually bringing back some memories, because this was like quite stressful for me, a very stressful time. Because I was like, I didn't have any skills. I was trying to do this stuff. I was not sleeping at all. Like, we just had a second kid too, so there was like all this other stuff going on in the house, and I was almost like in tears in multiple nights, just thinking about like how, like, I'm just trying to make this work, but I didn't know how. I didn't know what I was doing, and that the company was so supportive, like the team, and it was awesome, but I just like didn't. But I don't want to make it sound like this program failed, like I was the one that failed. And if someone were to ask me, hey, do you recommend this? I would say absolutely. I think the problem for me was I had limiting beliefs. I didn't know what I was doing, and all of that sort of melded together in this situation where I ended up I spent $4,000 on this, and I did take away a lot of lessons, which I think is valuable. But I can't even imagine if I stayed in here. Like, I was just on the wrong path. So then what I did, so during that time, I wasn't really making any content or anything like that. So what I did was I was like, all right, I'm going back to content. And I did this daily series. Where basically I would just talk about personal finances on my way to work, have my phone up on a little phone holder thing, and just talk about personal finances, different topics. And I uploaded that, and I've been basically rewarded every time I've done daily habits. So in my personal finance journey, for example, it all kind of started out with me just tracking my bank account every day. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this for 30 days. I ended up doing it for about 75 days. And then when I did this daily series in the car, I was like, yeah, I got to just like take action, something that's like a low lift, because I was like, I didn't want to do something with money, obviously, because I was like, I just like totally fucked that up. So I gotta figure out what to do there. And so I was like, just do it for 30 days. I ended up doing that for about 75 days too, But then I was like, well, you really got to pinch in and get the content right. But at the end of the day, this was a very, very tough time for me, and it was. I'm glad that it happened because I actually did learn a lot of lessons. I learned how to try to, I don't want to say pitch my offer, but how to talk to people, how to like cold speak to someone, um, how to set up a sales script, like how to read someone's like body language and objections. And it's really helped me kind of go through that process and do all the things. So I I think the $4,000, like I learned a lot of lessons. I feel like a little baby that I quit though. I hate that I quit, but it is what it is. Like I can't even imagine paying the extra $12,000 for. I mean, maybe I could have made started making sales. Like maybe I was just on this path and then I would have gone up or something like that. But it just, yeah, it was. I believed in myself, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, I guess I didn't because I quit. So anyway, guys, that is that part of the video. Let me know if you found value in that, or if had a similar situation where you joined something and you quit for your business, and now you're looking back, you're like, man, I'm a baby. So the last thing we do here is the important things tracker, where I track all the things that I think are important in my business. So speaking of money, how much did I make today in my bank account? $0. Let's go to the YouTube channels. I've got this Entrepreneur in Progress channel, 4 subscribers, and my main channel, Chris Went, at 781. 781, 4. Now let's go to the communities. My personal finance communities at 208. And my Entrepreneur in Progress is 2 members. Someone joined today. Let's go. Entrepreneur in Progress, 208. This is a dollar community, so I just made $1. Oh, I did make $1. But I guess I didn't make it. I guess I'm going to count it when school pays me out. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. All right, so very cool, guys. I'm doing these videos daily. Make sure to, I want to talk to you guys about your daily accountabilities and stuff like that, your habits, what you're struggling with as an entrepreneur in progress. Maybe we could sort of talk through it. I'm doing these videos daily, so I'm going to see ya tomorrow.